Hi, my name is Jennifer Wells, and I'm the Vice President of the Points Zembrodt Education Center, and I am here today with Marilyn Baker, the pretzel lady. Thank you for coming on board, Marilyn.
Thank you for inviting me, Jennifer. We go back a long way.
We do. Let's start by maybe you could tell us a little bit about your business.
I would love to. If we have a couple hours, that would be enough. No, I'm very passionate about what I do. So, Jennifer, sometimes I say I'm the SLP turned CPL. That's
Mhm.
speech language pathologist turned chief pretzel lady.
Right.
So here I am. Had a wonderful career as a speech pathologist. Transitioned into selling pretzels. Long story, we'll get into that another time. But I do have a flavored pretzel shop. We're here in Covington.
Mhm.
So we're Kentucky proud. And my social enterprise mission, which is how you and I got connected, is that I do hire second chance workers and non-traditional workers. So I've really enjoyed having some of the workers from the Point come help me bag and sell pretzels. So I have a bag to hold up. So this is the bourbon flavored. You can see it. We have 6 flavors of pretzels that we sell mostly to wholesale. Our 6 flavors are fiery, spicy, honey, cinnamon, citrus, and bourbon. So maybe that'll intrigue some of your listeners. Um,
Sure.
Before COVID, our primary bread and butter or salt and pretzels were places like Ryan Geist, Coffee Emporium, hospital gift shops, Kramer's Market,
Mhm.
just coffee shops, people that sell snacks. But once COVID hit, we kind of had to pivot a little bit. We're coming back with some of the wholesale accounts, but we're doing more online and doing gifts for Christmas and thank you gifts for frontline workers and that kind of thing. So we're still very much making the pretzels, but so we've shifted our focus a little bit. But we are at about 300 stores. You'll see us online and social media, and I do hire second chance workers. So I'm really proud of that social enterprise component of our business.
Let's dive a little bit into your experience and working with people with learning or physical differences, or really any kind of difference that you can think of when it comes to employment. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yes, and I think that's what the challenge is everyone's different no matter what spectrum you're talking about. But sometimes when I do bring in somebody who's either physical differences or cognitive differences, it's a challenge to find their strengths, work to their strengths, figure out what they can do, what we're comfortable with them doing. It's a business. I can't have bags go out that don't look nice or that aren't weighed accurately. I mean, I do have to have standards that it's a business you wouldn't want to compromise on. So
Mhm.
it's a challenge, but I think that's what I like about it. And just being a speech pathologist, if there is a mode of learning that's better for a candidate than another mode, if they're more visual or show me, don't tell me, or model it for me, I enjoy that. I enjoy being a mentor a lot, and
Mhm.
that's a huge give back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've had all sorts of reasons that I would call people non-traditional, whether it's they got into trouble with medications, drugs, divorce, illness, or they have a autism, anything on the spectrum. It's a challenge.
Mhm.
I enjoy that.
Good. Well, I think that you bring a unique perspective to the world of work based on my experience of working with you and bringing people to you to be interviewed to see if they would be a good fit. I think you're a little bit ahead of the game as far as what we would call customized employment. So looking for strengths, you have high expectations, you know that you have a need that needs to be filled, but you are willing to be creative about how you meet that need with each person. So I really
Well,
appreciate that.
nobody can do everything. You and I can't go into a job setting and be expected to do everything. So, what I remember one time you and I were working with somebody who had trouble with the scissors and cutting bubble wrap. You
Mhm.
know, the scissors were just a challenge, so we'll move on. There's plenty of other things to do. I don't have to have my
Yeah.
bubble wrap, cut right then or whatever.
Yeah.
So another gal had trouble tying a bow on the packages. That's
Yes.
just a
Yeah.
fine motor skills. That just wasn't her strength.
But you always do such a great job of you have expectations and you see people as capable and you figure out what works for them. So I think that's
Yeah.
great. What do you think are some misconceptions about hiring people with disabilities?
I was thinking about that one. Maybe with the misperception that they can't do it, visually impaired people kind of come to mind. I'm just always amazed at how resilient and, people can find a way to do all sorts of things that you might think can't be done. So,
Mhm.
and groups like yours that can coach us and help us. You've been a coach to me as well as to the students, the clients that come in.
Yeah.
But maybe, the misperception is that they've got limits, and maybe they don't have any limits. Give them a chance.
Have you noticed any barriers or specific challenges to employment when it comes to people with disabilities? You spoke to that a little bit, but if you want to say more.
Well, yes, Jennifer. I mean, you and I had a challenge, I think, with my recent gal with getting here on the bus. But
Mhm.
one of your job coaches rode the bus with her several times, taught her the route, comfortable that she could do it, and she was fine for months after that.
Right.
So, transportation getting here would have been a barrier had you all not stepped in and provided the job training. And that's a life skill that now she has the bus skills, and she can read a schedule better than I can. So
Mhm.
it just, just you all were there to help her do that. Somebody else did not have transportation, and people I was hired him through got him a bicycle, a
Oh,
donated bicycle. So yeah, I just think the creativity. Honestly, Jennifer, I don't know why people would be that hesitant. I think the social enterprise mission of my business is such a good business model. I mean, just leaving aside that it's the right thing to do and it's the kind thing to do and compassionate and all that, it makes a lot of sense business-wise. We're partnering with agencies that have people that need jobs, and I need workers. So I don't know why people I mean, obviously some fields you have to be hesitant about bringing somebody with a record, but this industry, gosh, it's a win-win.
great. Thank you for saying that. And I know that you probably, over time, we've established that I know for us, we try really hard not to refer people to positions when we think it's not going to be a good fit. So we do a lot of screening ahead of time to make sure that we're thinking about all of the factors that go into a job. There is a shift. I know Procter & Gamble, for example, they are changing the way that they hire people with autism. They're providing more support, and they're starting to do what I've seen you do, and that what you were doing years ago. So even people in positions where someone might need a college degree or earn a higher income, those employers are beginning to see that there's value to be added to the company with someone with a disability.
You and I share the case with a worker that was with me 5 years. I mean, that's an incredible amount of time. And
Mhm.
he was the best worker. I mean, if everybody could be half as good as he was, he, never late, never sick, totally, maybe to a fault to clean. I mean, he was washing his hands all the time, but heck, you bagging pretzels, that's not a bad thing.
Right.
Um, but his bags were 8 ounces on the nose, never, ever made a mistake. So, you know, yeah, they're definitely, the competencies are there. Get a good match, it's just really wonderful. I miss him. He moved away, so I miss him a lot.
What tips do you have for job seekers who may have disabilities, may not have disabilities, but have challenges when it comes to employment?
You know what comes to mind at the very, and when I interview people, be honest.
Mm.
Don't sugarcoat something. Be honest. Something's hard for you, or you might be late because you've got some issues. I do hire people that maybe have parole meetings or things that they can't control. I can be flexible if I know up front. I don't like surprises. I
Mhm.
don't like not being told the full story. But just be honest. One one day a gal forgot her glasses and she wasn't able to read the scale.
Mm.
I just wish I'd known that early in the shift before a lot of bags were not weighed correctly. So, it's little, but it's not. It's not little. It's important. So just be honest. I think any employer I would think would want to have the um, problem up front and solve it and then move on.
You mentioned working with The Point, but do you partner with any other organizations when it comes to hiring people?
You were my first though, weren't you?
So,
We used to rent space from you in several different locations over the years. I've been in business, I don't know that I said, I think 11 years. We used to, you had the building down by where Lee's Chicken is. The building's gone. It's a big grassy area now.
yeah.
I rented there and then rented from where the coffee shop is now. So we go way back. So
Yeah.
the Point's been a dear, near and dear to my heart.
Mhm.
But I do now also hire workers that have graduated from the Life Learning Centers program. So
Great.
they go through a 12-week program, and to graduate, they need a job.
Mhm.
So with those folks, I'm often a stepping stone. If they can, come to me and do a good job and show up on time, and then I can be a good reference for them. Then
Mhm.
that may help them get a more of a full-time job with, a career path and more benefits and all that. So, but it's a good stepping stone, and I'm happy to do that.
What would you like people who aren't familiar with disabilities to know?
That's a broad one.
Mhm. You can narrow it if you
Um,
want to.
well, just to be open, yeah, they might say things that are a little out there. Their cognition may be, a little out of the mainstream, but I find some of it just enlightening. I mean, and as you know, the gentleman I'm talking about that was with me 5 years was just funny. He
Mhm.
was just funny as all, we just laughed the whole time he would be in for his time. So, not we're all not the same, and people with disabilities not the same either, but we all have strengths, and um, give them a chance.
Right. Again, I think you do such a good job of seeing the whole person.
Oh,
Um,
thank
higher, yeah. I have one last question for you, but then I invite you to share whatever else you'd like to.
you. Okay.
My last question is, what is your greatest hope for people with learning or physical differences?
That they find a employment, relationships that fulfill them and make them feel whole.
Mhm.
Um, I'd asked one of my employer's mothers just, how she felt like things were going and kind of touch base, because the families are involved too. Some of my folks, I definitely get to know the families.
Mhm.
She said, "You have made him feel like he was worthwhile."
Mhm.
Whoa, yeah, yeah. That quote was pretty powerful. I, you
Mhm.
know, I take that with humility and all of that. But if I made him feel good about himself and gave him a purpose to come in, it was, it, what doesn't feel good about that? That just such a warm fuzzy.
Yes, that's great. And not something to be taken for granted because not everyone offers that to people with any kind of difference from what they're used to. So thank you for doing that. All right, so I know that we're coming up on the holiday season. I assume this is a busy time of year for you.
It is. This year is probably going to be a little different. One of our most um, channels of resources at the holidays are corporate gifts. And already some of my big folks that usually give gifts to all of their clients, they're obviously not delivering gifts this year to office buildings. So, but we do a big gift line. I don't know if you can see some of our packaging, and our website has a lot of options for gifts. We're Kentucky proud, so it's nice to give something that's local, it's consumable, goes away, you don't have to dust it. So our flavors of pretzels come in all different shapes and sizes. And
Mhm.
if anybody has any questions, I'd love to. Normally we'd be having open houses this time of year. I'm kind of in our little room we call our showroom,
Okay,
but no open houses this year.
right. Well, we will be sure to link your web address and any other information you want to share with community members so that they know where to find you.
I'd love that. I'd love to meet more people and be glad to have people come in and visit in person as soon as we can.
Mhm. All right. Well, thank you so much for participating in this interview. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you all, Jennifer, and tell everybody there hello.
I will. All right. Stay safe.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.